Hello, gorgeous children. I'm here for your first reading lesson this week, and this week we will be focusing on reading fluency. Today, our learning focus is we are learning to read smoothly, and to be successful today, we can read a familiar text and scoop words together. I'm going to teach you about scooping words together in a minute. Did you know that sentences are strings of words that are all put together? But really, sentences have groups of phrases that are said together, and it helps us make better meaning of what we've read. When we read like a robot, we read word by word and we read like this. But if we can scoop words together, we make our reading sound more like talking. And when it sounds more like talking, it makes better sense. Today I'm going to be showing you a few examples, but I have brought my spoon along so I can scoop some of the words together. I have an example here that we're going to do together now. It says, I'm going to read like a robot. Do not walk in that huge hole. Doesn't sound great, does it? Do not walk in that huge hole. Now, if we scoop some of the parts together and we phrase it, it will have better meaning. Let's have a go. Do not walk in that huge hole. Let's have a look and see. So when we scoop, we draw lines under them to show our scooping, our phrasing. Do not walk in that huge hole. You can see it makes better, it has better meaning. And when we read it, it has good flow. Okay, I'm going to share with you now Mr. Wishy-Washy. Mr. Wishy-Washy. I'm going to read a couple of pages and I'm going to give you an example of robot talking and scooping and phrasing. Then I'm going to show you my example of how we can do this in a worked example for today's reading. Mr. Wishy-Washy. Here we go. Mr. Wishy-Washy washed dishes very fast. He washed plates and cups, swish, swish. He washed pots and pans, swish, swish. My dear, said Mrs. Wishy-Washy, you are the fastest washer in the world. See how it loses a bit of meaning when we read like a robot. If we read word by word, we can lose our understanding. I'm going to now in the next page show you how to scoop. Okay, so we look at the parts of the words that go together. For example, these two words go together, these words go together. So we scoop them together as we read them, like this. One day, Mrs. Wishy-Washy said, you see how that worked? Now I'm going to keep reading and scoop. My dear, I am going to town. Please wash the dishes and feed the animals. Yes, my love, replied Mr. Wishy-Washy. Have a nice day. You can see when I scooped then have a nice day, it had great flow, it made sense, and it made my reading sound smooth. So for today's task, you are going to pick a good fit book and you are going to be practicing scooping, phrasing parts of the story. We can do this by focusing on saying goodbye to robot reading. Instead of reading word by word like a robot, we can scoop words together and read in phrases. So my example is, I've got it here. I'm using the part of the story that says, Mr. Wishy-Washy went out to feed the animals. And so when I do my scooping, I look at Mr. Wishy-Washy and I put a scoop underneath it, went out to feed the animals. You can see I put my scoops in to show my understanding. Your job is to read a good fit book and scoop the words and show me your example. Have a look for my worked examples. Good luck.